Hi and welcome to this webinar about how to set up your own Loops organization and get started. So I have navigated to loops.education and that's where I find this pop-up. And it says log into Loops, but first I of course have to create my account. So I will start by doing that. And this is about creating your own Loops organization. And if you have a colleague that has already started with Loops, you can ask that person to invite you to his or her organization instead. But if you are like the first one jumping on this, you should start your own organization here, and by that also creating your own account. And then you just need to add your email address here and click create test account. And as you can see, you will have an email for confirmation. So I go to my email and this is what I find, confirm email. So this is for my organization, but I start with my own user account. So I add my name here and a password. And then this says that I'm in Sweden, but I would like to choose instead that I'm in the USA. And here you can see that we have 3 different organization types. And what differs them is that if you choose a school organization, you will have wordings like student and teacher. And if you choose company or other education, it will say instead leader and participant. And the other thing is that you will have a different inspirational library. So I will choose that I have a company and city like this, and the organization name is WeMe. Click here and then create account and organization. And now I'm in Loops. I save my password and you can see here that a guide is unfolding. There will be a guide on each place that you land in on here, and you can read here what you can do at this spot that you're at. And here it says to add a profile picture, so I will start by that. And then I will mention also that this is where your participants will change their passwords later when they come into Loops. And you got a question here if you like to have a summary of your notifications by email, and I would like to have that weekly, so I click that and then save and continue. And this is like a part of the entering tour for me that is creating the organization. So now I have landed on my organization settings. And what I can do here is to start by selecting an image that everyone will see that enters this organization. It will be up here. And then I can see that some of the things that I have written already is in here. And then I have some choices. I can, for example, say that I would like to add my own support email for the organization. And maybe that is not a good idea when you're totally new, but you can do that later. And then if your participants click here on contact us, it will instead say contact WeMe, and you can be the one answering the questions. And then you have some settings for the leaders, if you like the leaders to be able to invite new members even though they are not administrators. And if you like them to be able to add, change and delete groups. And if you don't want that, you just untick those boxes. But this can of course be good. So I will keep that one about changing passwords. And then for the participants, if you like them to be able to create their own loops, that can be a good thing. Or you don't want that, you just want them to be participants in your loops, you can untick that. And then you can get back here and just change your mind later. And this is, the last one is built mostly for schools, where there can be a lot of superhero names if you don't lock the possibility to change the first and last name. So I will save and continue here. So now I'm at the start page, and this is where I will find the loops that are active later when I've started up with some loops. But before we do that, I would like to show you how to add participants to your organization. And then I click here. This is my organization picker, and I can see that I have 45 days left for my trial. And this trial will be like you can do everything in loops for 45 days. And then if you pay, of course, you can continue, or you can contact us to have some more days to try it out. And the organization settings, that's where we were before, and now I will go for participant administration. And here you can see that we have 4 different things to choose from with these radio buttons, and we start at the overview. And this is where I can import participants. So I just click here, and I get the information that I can download a template and then upload it again, and then continue by performing or simulating the import. So I will download the template, and of course I have done what good TV chefs do and prepared a bit, so we can go to the template and take a look. So this is what you fill out. You have the first name and the last name of your participants, the email address, and then I've just chosen to add a password that I expect them to change, and I have collected them into groups. And those groups I will use when I hand out loops later. And then I have some leaders, and they are not in the groups because I will not hand out loops to them. They will be the ones leading the loops. So if I don't write anything, that will be a participant, and if I add the wording leader here, those 3 will be leaders. So let's go back here and upload the template. And then if you like to simulate the import just to check out that everything is right, you can click here, and in a few minutes you will have an email that shows you what has happened. But I will be bold today and just perform the import. And now it says that the import was successful, and it would take a few minutes and I will get an email about it. So we can continue by going to take a look on these 3. So this is where you find all the participants later, and if you click one of the participant names, you will get information on that person, what they are working with in loops and so on. But I can also add a participant. So if I just have 1 or 2 participants that I would like to add, I can do it here instead of importing them. But I can also, of course, perform the import many times. But I would like to have like a test participant that I can play around with and try to learn the system by using this participant. So I will just add an email here and invite that test participant. And here you can see that participant is invited. I can click down this guide, and if I like to have it later I can just open it again. But then you can see here that this person is invited, and as long as the person has not answered to the invite, there will be an envelope here, and I can choose to resend it to remind them. Or I can delete it and give it up. So that's how it works. And this is the same thing later for leaders. And then for the groups, when there are groups in the organization, you can change the participants in the groups here. So some minutes have passed. I have accepted the account for my test participant, and we are back at the overview. And as you can see, now the participants have landed in here, and they are divided into the teams and the groups. And if I click this here, I can see that if I like to delete accounts, like if people quit the job or something, I can choose 1 or I can choose all and just delete them, and this will delete the entire account. So this is like an overview that you can work from if you like to just see who has got accounts and are they leaders or participants, and how is everything rolling in my environment here. And now if I go to the groups, I can choose a group, and I can say that I would like to add another person to this group, and that will be my test participant, and then I can just save here. So then you can see that I can edit the groups here, and I will see that they are edited when I come back to the overview. So this is how it works here in the participant administration. So let's get back to the start page. When I get back here, I can see that there is a tip for me that I can use the loop called Loops for Participants and start it with my groups. So I will find that in the library. So let's go to the library. I find this loop, Loops for Participants, and I choose to start it. I would like to start it with all my groups. So I click Start, and here I can just add, if I like, another title. I could say that we learn to loop, for example, and then click Continue. And here I can add the participants. And as I have divided into groups, I just have to write like the name of the group to get them in here. So HR was one name, and then I had Team B and Team A. When I click Add here, all the participants will be invited to the loop. And then I would like to add the leaders as leaders in the loop. So I can do that down here. So it doesn't have to be just me who are the leader in the loop. So I add the leaders also. Saga, Sipan, and Anna. So now we are 4 leaders in the loop and all the participants up here, and we can work with it together. I just have to remember to activate it, and then it will be on the start page for everyone. So now the loop is activated. So now I'm curious about building my own loop. So I will go to My Loops and start building one. So I will click New Loop, and then I have the guide to help me on how to do it, but I will close that now as I will show you instead. So this is a loop that will be for the group that work with HR, and it will be like the plan for the year, and we will work with it together to find what we like to put our time on. So I will just give it a name and say how many hours I think we will put on this, and then I can make a short description for the participants. And I will just write this now so it's not so fun to look at. And then I will click Save. And for the first hub, it will just say Planning. And I will write here what we will do, like this, and Save. And then you can see that there will be a green arrow. This is like the start hub. This is what we call the hub. And the small circles here will be the nodes. So I will add a notice board, because that is a node where the participant can communicate with each other and me. I have found a film that I find really interesting that is about HR trends, and I will add that to the loop. So I just copy and then paste the link here, and the film will be embedded. And then a question for the participants. What do you find interesting with the film? Then I click Save, and I will also add a picture here so it looks a bit nicer. There it is. And this will be a loop that is just one hub. This is a really short loop, and then when we have discussed this first question, I can add another hub, so I can build this loop together with my participants. I'll take that away for now. So I like to hand it out to my group now. So I click Preview, and then I get the possibility to start the loop. And this loop is going to be handed out to the HR team. But here I just click Continue, and then here I add the participants. And I can just write the name of the group, and all of them will land into the loop here. And then I activate it. So let's go to the start page and see what loops we have there now. So I have the HR loop for the HR group, and then learn to loop for everyone. Let's visit the test participant and see how it looks when you get into a loop and work in it. So this is Beatrice, and she belongs to both the HR group and she's also in this loop. So when she likes to start working in the loop, she just clicks it here. And then she will have a short description of the loop here, that if she likes to, she can close it. And then she can see that this is the order of the content in the loop. But she can also just follow the path in the loop if she likes to. So if she likes to work just from the map here, she can see that this is where she starts, and she starts here with the glossary. So this is just explaining the names of the parts of the loop, the hub, the node, and the learning path. And it's a list that she's reading, and when she's done, she's done. And this will be ticked here. So then she keeps on working clockwise. And in all the yellow ones, there will just be content to take part of. There's a film to watch on how you move around in the loop. And when you have done that, you just continue like this. But then there's also different kinds of nodes. And for example, at this hub, there is a question node. And the blue ones will be like just between the leaders and the participant. And as I told you before, the green one will be for collaboration. So that's just for a reminder from the colors. So Beatrice can answer here. So she says that she likes to work in the garden and go hiking, and then she can hand in here. And if she likes to, she can also edit the answer, or she can record a film instead if she doesn't like to write it. So she clicks hand in, and then you can see that this is not checked off, because that is up to me as a leader to check it off. So we can go back to the leader, and if I like to see the loop as Beatrice did, I click the loop here. And if I like to go directly to the leader panel, I can just click here. And then I can see that among all my participants, it's just Beatrice who has started. So I click her name, and I can see that she has checked off 2 nodes, and there is an answer in the 3rd one. So I click that, and I can see her answer. And I can choose to either just accept the assignment and lock it, or I can give an answer to her. And as you can see, I can also record a film if I like to. So we go back to Beatrice again. And there you can see that she has a notification here. And that tells her that I have written something. And she can see the answer here. And we go back to the leader. And I chose to accept the assignment and lock it. So we go back to Beatrice again. And then Beatrice can see that it is checked off. So this is how the communication works in loops. And of course, both the leader and the participant can use the notifications instead if you like to. And if you click that, you'll go directly to the place that it's about. So we're back at the start page again, and we have investigated what happens here on the start page, on my loops, where we build the loops, and then for the participant overview. So this is a place for the leaders that are not administrators to be able to see what a person has worked with in loops. So I can find Beatrice here, and if I click her name, I will see the loops that she's involved in and how long she's come. So it's just an overview. But if I am an administrator, I have more rights. So then I can go into participant administration, to participants, and I can see here. And right now this is the exact same information, but later if my colleagues that are leaders have handed out loops, I can see also them up here. And that is a bit different from the participant overview, where you will see only the loops that you have interacted in yourself. So just a few more things that I'd like to show you. It's for the collaboration. So if I'm here in my loops, I can see that I have colleagues who like to use this loop. And then I can go into the loop and I can choose to publish it in our common library, because we have a shared library here. And then I go here and say publish to library, and I will publish it to my organization library. And if I go now to the library and look here, I can see that the loop is here. So if I have started building on a loop, or I have finished a loop that I like to share with my colleagues that are leaders, I can put it up here and they can use it from here, because they can start a loop from here. And we go back again to my loops. And I could say also that maybe it will be interesting to collaborate on building this loop with another leader. Then I go into the edit mode and I click add collaborator. And then I can just add the name of the person here that I would like to collaborate with. So Sipan will be invited and he will be a co-creator in this loop. So just one more important thing is that what happens when you start a loop, because now I have the HR loop here, right? That is a started loop that I would like to continue building together with the participants. And then I have the original here under my loops. So when I continue to build together with the participants that are invited, I should not build in this loop, but I should go here to the leader panel of this loop, and I should choose to edit the loop here. Then I will edit the one that I have actually handed out to the participants. And another thing that is good to know is that I don't have to go to the start page to switch between the modes. I can also use this little green arrow to walk between the preview mode and the teacher panel. Yeah, I think I have shown you most of the things that you need to know to get started in loops. I will recommend you to use the guide. It says what you can do on each page. And if you like to read more about how you do it, you go down here to the support pages and you will find a lot of information. If you, for example, like to know how you terminate a loop, you can just make a search here and then you can see a picture so you know where you're at, and you just click the button terminate. So thank you so much for listening, and don't hesitate to make contact with us if you need any help. Find us down here at the Contact Us. Bye bye.